Welcome to this video. My name is Criston from Beyond Premiere, and hold on, House of Dragon fans, that ending to episode 1 was absolutely insane.
They killed the boy.
And I got some wild theories about what's going to happen next. We're talking dragons, battles, and betrayals that will leave you questioning the season. So buckle up because we're diving deep into the madness that is to come in episode 2. Alright, let's start with the biggest question. How will Alicent react to the news of Heir's death? That ending to episode 1 was brutal. She's caught between her own ambitions and her desire to protect her children. Now here's the thing. In the books, this event sends Alicent into a deep despair. She blames herself, she blames Rhaenyra, and she blames those who orchestrated the assassination. But I think this show might take a different approach. I have a feeling that Alicent's grief is going to transform into a burning rage. Remember how she was the one who wanted Lucerys punished, and how she's been whispering in Aegon's ear, trying to make him a stronger king. Well, I think Heir's death is going to push her over the edge. She's going to be even more determined to see her son on the Iron Throne, and she's not going to hesitate to take drastic measures to achieve it. And I think we might see a darker side of Alicent emerge. She's going to become a ruthless player in this Game of Thrones.
You see what I did there?
And speaking of ruthless, let's talk about Daemon. You know, Daemon always has a plan, and after those events in the Red Keep, I'm betting he's got something even bigger in store. He's already shown his willingness to use violence to achieve his goals, and he's not going to stop now. In the books, Daemon takes a very active role in the war, commanding armies, riding his dragon, and wreaking destruction on the Greens. We know he's a warrior at heart, and he's going to relish the opportunity to unleash his fury. But there's another aspect to this. Remember how Daemon was the one who woke up that dragon in the season 1 finale? Well, I think we're going to see that dragon come into play in a big way, and it's going to be epic. But how will it all connect? I think Daemon is going to use the dragon to rally allies to Rhaenyra's cause. He's going to travel the realm, demonstrating the power of the Blacks, and that's going to be a game changer. This dragon is massive, powerful, and has a reputation of being as fierce as his name suggests. It's going to be epic to see him in the show. Vermithor has not been ridden in years, and he's not going to be easily tamed. In the books, Daemon has to use all his power and dragon whispering skills to win Vermithor allegiance. Will we see a similar struggle in the show? Will Daemon have to face some challenges to claim his beast or this beast? I cannot wait to find out. Vermithor's presence in the war is a game changer. Having a dragon like that is going to shift the power. And you know what? It also suggests that the show is going to be embracing those larger-than-life elements that made Game of Thrones so captivating. Okay, so you're gonna want to hear this because it's coming straight from George R.R. Martin. He's seen the rough cuts of the first 2 episodes of season 2, and he says they're great. Now, we already know House of Dragon is a show that was not afraid to get dark, but it sounds like season 2 is going to take things to a whole new level. I think he's totally right. Episode 1 was already intense, but it sounds like episode 2 is going to be even more emotionally charged. Episode 2 is a whopping 72 minutes long. That's the longest episode of the series so far, so you know it's going to be packed with those jaw-dropping moments. But let's talk about Rhaenyra. She's queen, but her reign is off to a totally rocky start. She's lost a son, she's facing a rebellion, and she's stuck on Dragonstone, isolated and surrounded by advisors who are telling her what to do. But here's the thing, Rhaenyra's not the kind of woman to sit back and wait for things to happen to her. She's got the Targaryen fire in her veins, and she's not afraid to make bold choices. But what will these choices be? Well, in the books, she makes some decisions that surprise even her closest allies, and I think we're gonna see some similar twists in the show. Both of the characters this season are driven by a desire for revenge. She's going to be driven by a desire for vengeance. She's going to be willing to take risks to secure her power. I think we might even see her do something that challenges those traditional notions of what it means to be a queen. But let's talk about some of those lingering mysteries from the premiere, because they're going to be huge for episode 2. First up, what's the deal with Alicent and Criston? That scene at the end of the episode was steamy, and it definitely hints at a deeper connection between them, something that we have seen since season 1. It's not just a forbidden romance. It's a potential scandal that could shake the foundations of the Red Keep. If word gets out about their affair, it could weaken Aegon's claim to the throne, and it could even give Rhaenyra an opportunity to strike. Now, I'm really interested in seeing this. How will they keep their secret, and what would the consequences be if they're exposed? Then we have to talk about Mysaria. The White Worm is now a prisoner of the Greens, but she knows a lot of secrets, and she's got a history with Daemon. So how would she use that to her advantage? I think she's going to become a key player in the war. We have seen her in the past provide information, so she could be a valuable asset to either side. But I have a feeling that she's going to play her own game. And finally, let's talk about Corlys and Alyn of Hull. Remember, Alyn saved Corlys' life, and that's going to create a strong bond between them. But will that bond be enough to keep the Velaryons loyal to Rhaenyra? Or could Alyn's ambition lead him down a different path, because they're going to have a major impact on the Dance of Dragons, which is episode 4. Okay, let's dive into some of my wilder theories, because House of the Dragon is a show that's full of surprises. Remember that scene in episode 1 where Criston Stark mentioned those dragons refusing to fly beyond the wall? Well, I think that's hinting at something big. What if there's a reason that dragons are drawn to the south? What if there's a hidden danger in the north that even dragons fear? Now, this might seem far-fetched, but think about it. We know that Game of Thrones featured White Walkers and the threat of winter. Could House of the Dragon be setting up a similar conflict? But let's not forget about all those new characters that are coming this season. They're going to be shaking things up in a big way. We know that the war is going to draw in major players, and episode 1 and 2 introduce us to some key figures. From the books, we know that characters like Adam and Alice Rivers make their debut, and these are not characters to be underestimated. Adam's stories are really interesting. He's a skilled dragon rider, and he's going to find himself caught between loyalty and ambition. And Alice Rivers, well, she's a mysterious figure with a dark past, and she's going to be drawn into the conflict in a way that no one can expect. There are a ton of other players who are waiting in the wings, and episode 2 is going to be packed with those little introductions that are going to pay off in a big way down the line. But here's a theory. Could Rhaenyra actually attack King's Landing alone? I know it sounds insane, but this hints at her flying to the Red Keep on Syrax, ready to unleash her fury, but she knows that an all-out assault on King's Landing will be a disaster. But the show has shown us a different side of her. She's impulsive, she's proud, and she's totally driven by emotion. After losing her son, I think her grief is going to transform into a burning rage. So could she actually do it? Could she fly to King's Landing and try to burn it all down? It could be a really bold move, and it would change the course of the war. I'm excited to see if the show actually takes this path, because it will be a major twist and it will completely redefine her character. Where her scene, where she sees Arak's wing, is absolutely devastating, and it's a brilliant move by the show's creators. By emphasizing her grief and the emotional consequences of the war, they're solidifying the audience sympathy for Team Black. Even with the brutal act of blood and cheese, it's hard to imagine anyone shifting their allegiance to Team Green after witnessing her pain. And here's what I think that's so important. This show's about moral compass. There are no clear-cut heroes or villains. Every character is flawed and capable of making terrible choices. And by showing the devastating impact of violence on both sides, the show is forcing us to confront war and the motivations that drive people to extreme actions. We understand why Daemon orchestrated the assassination plot even if we don't condone it, and we feel Rhaenyra's grief so deeply that we cannot help but root for her, even if she makes choices that might seem questionable. This approach is going to make the Dance of Dragons even more interesting to see, because it's not just about who wins the throne, it's about the decisions and devastating consequences with this war. My name is Criston from Vermithor, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.